Hey, beautiful. I hope your day has been going well. I was recently having a conversation with my mom about the topic of love, and we mainly took it from a spiritual perspective of like being Christian and what love really entails as a Christian, and not romantic love either, just love, the topic of love in general. And it was recalling to me some conversations and just thoughts I was having weeks prior on the same topic. And I kind of wanted to share this with you guys. A little impromptu. I know I haven't made a video in a little bit. I apologize. You know, it's just been, I needed that break, I think. But I saw a clip of the trailer for the show Materialist. And as far as I am aware, Materialist is supposed to be like an homage to older romance films. I don't know if it's a romantic comedy, but I know it's supposed to be like a homage to romance films specifically. And I watched the trailer, and it honestly, I can tell that it's trying to pay homage to older romance films like 27 Dresses, or How to Catch a Guy in, what was it? I can't remember what that one was called. I think How to Catch a Guy in like 5 days or something. I can't remember that movie. I'll probably put it on the screen or something. But like it was paying homage to those kinds of films, which is nice, which is good because we haven't had a real romance film, and that's pretty much where my thoughts came to a head at, which is we don't seem to really grasp the concept of love well anymore, and like we don't really seem to grasp what it means to be in love, or what it means to really like pine for somebody. Like whenever people look at romance, a lot of people will reference Pride and Prejudice, or a lot of people will reference like those Jane Austen books or films, like the historical ones. Persuasion is another one. Like those are the ones that people really reference because there's like this level of understanding as to what love is and the type of love that people really aspire for. You have the pining men and the women that desperately want to be with the man, but whatever circumstances that they find themselves in, whether it be themselves or familial situation, they can't open themselves to the idea of being with that person, or whatever the case may be. Either way, I think my main thought is we as a society have lost the plot when it comes to topics of love and topics of affection. We misconstrue love for sex in our society, where everything that is referenced on screen has depictions of intimacy only in the physical kind. We don't really have emotional intimacy. We don't really have mental intimacy. We don't have physical intimacy or any type of intimacy, period, without it involving something sexual, which is really disheartening because it does reflect how our society is and how our society views relationships, period. We live in a society that was big on hookup culture, and there are a lot of people that are suffering as a result of that period that we went through where everyone was just hooking up with everybody. But I think art always replicates, or art always imitates life in some way, shape, or form. So the films that we are seeing, they're literally reflecting the culture that we are promoting right now. So with people that are desperately desiring for those romance films again, the romance films don't feel authentic. to the time that we're in, which is unfortunate because then there's that dichotomy of us wanting to have those types of films again where we're seeing people falling in love and we're getting antsy watching them fall in love. We're cringing as they're falling in love because there are awkward moments in love. And there are times where we just want to hide ourselves away because we're getting secondhand embarrassment from the situation. But then there are also times where we're watching and we're desperately just feeling this like overwhelming warmth from the love that's displayed in the film. I don't know. I just think it's interesting that in a society as advanced as ours, we can't seem to grasp the concept of love like how it was done in times past. We can get passion. We understand how to write passion. We understand how to write, passion, definitely. I think that's like the biggest thing. We understand how to write that. I've spoken about Bridgerton on this channel already, but Bridgerton is an example where passion is the one that is really depicted truly, and we can see it through like Bridgerton, for example. Bridgerton's like a clear example of that, where you have all these characters. You can't really feel the love of the characters though, and I think that's where the disheartening part is. You get the passion. The passion is felt. I think the only one that, no, even with her, and I think that has something to do with how short the films have been and the shows have been as of late, where everything is so rushed with the writing. So when you see a show that has a depiction of romance, let's say, a lot of the time you can't really get to the bottom or the depths of that romance because the parties that are in that romantic relationship, they don't have enough episodes for them to express that love. I don't know. I just feel like we're in a time now where we misconstrue what intimacy is. We don't really understand what romance is anymore. And we're kind of like trying to figure things out again. When in days past, we have good reference points of people that were able to write good romance films or good romance movies or even good romance books, period. But we are in a different era now, I guess, where romance is not something that's important. It's more so passion and connection that we think is the more important thing. And I don't know. This is a lot of rambling. A ramble on love or something. I don't know. That might be the topic of today's video because that's what it feels like. It feels like me rambling on and on about something that, I don't know, in every like art form, we've lost the plot when it comes to what love is and how it should be depicted. And it's unfortunate because we have examples of people that do art that can depict love within the art. But even with our music too, our music doesn't depict anything romantic. Everything is about intimacy. But you know the type of intimacy I'm referring to. It's not that kind of intimacy. It's not romantic intimacy. It's just sexual intimacy. That's it. That's all we're focused on in our society. And as a result of us being so focused on that in our society, we are losing the plot. We're not engaging in aspects of our humanity that desire and need love. We're mainly just focusing on aspects of our society where we can get this gratification met, and then afterwards we can just move on to the next. That was like the harm of hookup culture, where you were told you don't need to commit yourself to anything. All you need to do is get to that thing once, and then you can leave it and go and find something else to do. When the main importance of intimacy is having that person that you're intimate with, and then figuring out how to work out things together and figuring out how to build that bond together. That's why seniors that are in a relationship that they've had for eons, essentially, that's why a lot of people can look at them and say they have a true understanding of what love is, because they were able to stick it through no matter what. Now, it may be a little different now because we have people that are told by their families, when it comes to like marriage, for example, told by their grandmothers, don't get married, get your education, or whatever the case may be. Now, those are two different times. I think you can still get your education and still find someone that you love and cherish, but I don't know. I think that's a conversation on a whole that our society needs to have, just regarding love and understanding what love is. Yeah, I think that's it. I've been rambling, and there's no real point to this conversation, or there's no real point to the topics that I was bringing up. I just think that, I guess there is a point that I think love is not something that we have embraced in our society in some way, shape, or form. I think that we're trying to make fabrications of what love is supposed to be, but then we don't realize that in those fabrications, they're ultimately still not what love is. We're trying to figure it out. We had it before, but we're still trying to figure it out for some reason. But I don't know. Leave your thoughts down below if you guys share some similar ideas, because yeah, I think that we have a society where we're just kind of trying to figure out things as we go along, and yeah, either way. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.